The Christmas Spider, a Polish folktale by Marguerite de Angeli. The gray spider worked very hard every day, making long strands of silk that he wove into a web, in which he caught troublesome flies. But he noticed that everyone turned away from him, because, they said, he was so unpleasant to look at, with his long crooked legs and furry body. Of course, the gray spider didn't believe that, because he'd only the kindliest feelings for everybody. One day, when he was crossing the stream, he looked into the water. There he saw himself as he really was. "Oh," he thought, "I am very unpleasant to look at. I shall keep out of everyone's way." He was very sad, and hid himself in the darkest corner of the stable. There he again began to work as he always had, weaving long strands of silk into webs and catching flies. The donkey and the ox and the sheep who lived in the stable thanked him for his kindness, because now they were no longer bothered with the buzzing flies. That made the spider very happy. One night, exactly at midnight, the gray spider was awakened by a brilliant light. He looked about and saw that the light came from the manger, where a tiny child lay on the hay. The stable was filled with glory, and over the child bent a beautiful mother. Behind her stood a man with a staff in his hand, and the ox and the donkey and all the white sheep were down on their knees. Suddenly, a gust of cold wind swept through the stable, and the baby began to weep from the cold. The mother bent over him, but could not cover him enough to keep him warm. The little spider went to work, and soon he lay a blanket of silken web at Mary's feet, and Mary took up the web and covered the baby with it. It was soft as thistledown and as warm as wool. The child stopped his crying and smiled at the little gray spider. Then Mary said, "Little gray spider, for this great gift to the babe, make a wish, and I shall do my best to fulfill it." "Most of all," said the spider, "I wish to be beautiful." "That I cannot give you," Mary answered. "You must stay as you are for as long as you live. But this I can grant you. Whenever anyone sees a spider at evening, he will count it as a good omen, and it shall bring him good fortune." This made the spider very happy, and to this day on Christmas Eve we cover the Christmas tree with angel's hair, or tinsel as it is known, in memory of the little gray spider and his silken web. The end. The Lights on the Christmas Tree by Florence Page Jacques. Once the Christmas tree lights were not lights at all. They were the colors of the rainbow. Just a perfectly good rainbow, the kind you see in the sky after rain. You see, when Santa Claus made the very first Christmas tree, it was easy to see that he needed a rainbow for decoration, because all the decorations he had were white. He lived at the North Pole then, you know, as he does now, and when he had powdered the tree with snow and hung icicles all over it, and tied snowballs on the ends of the branches, he looked at it and said, "No, it's pretty, but it ought to have some color on it. It needs some red and green and blue and gold." "Oh, Santa Claus," said the littlest white bear, "let's put a rainbow on it." "That's just what it needs," Santa Claus agreed. "I'll send the biggest white bear to get one." "Oh," said the littlest white bear. He was so disappointed that the tears came to his eyes. "I was the one who thought of the rainbow. Please let me go find it." "All right then," Santa Claus said kindly, "but you must be very careful. Rainbows are easy to break, you know." "Oh, I will be careful," promised the little bear, and he ran and ran on his fat little legs till he found the most beautiful rainbow. Then he picked it up and hung it over his back and went home to Santa Claus, walking very carefully. He walked safely past the snowfields, and safely past the icebergs, and safely past the slippery slides, and at last he came to Santa Claus's steps, and saw Santa Claus in the doorway, waiting for him. "Hurrah!" he laughed, waving his little front paws in triumph. "Here it is!" And just then, both his back feet slipped, and boom! He fell on his back, and the rainbow was broken into 1,000 pieces. Don't cry," said Santa Claus, hurrying down the steps. "You aren't hurt." "No, but the rainbow is," sobbed the littlest white bear, and I tried so hard to be careful." "Never you mind," Santa Claus patted him gently. "We'll put the pieces of the rainbow on the tree." So they picked up a blue piece and put it here, and they picked up a red piece and put it there, and the Christmas tree was prettier than if the rainbow had been all together. "Oh," said the littlest white bear, "I'm glad I fell down." and ever since then we have had beautiful rainbow-colored lights on the Christmas tree. The end.